This here is Salmon Creek Community School. It usually has around 15 students, total. I went here from 1st to 2nd grade, and strangely enough, I never even went to preschool. My mom was dropping off my sister, who was in 3rd grade, and I would always run and hide somewhere on the school grounds, so the next year my mom decided to just check me in, straight to the 1st grade.
Alright, here we are, guys. The old stomping ground. They don't even have a lock. Look at this. Is that, I bet, oh my god, how easy is this gonna be? All I have to do is turn that. Ooh. And we're in. Alright, where do I even start the tour, really? I guess right here. This is the library. I don't know, there's a skeleton over there. That's spooky. Yeah. I remember spending 0 time in there at all. The classroom that I actually remember spending the most time in is that one. I have one very vivid memory from being inside of that classroom. And that memory was me drawing. I was drawing, right? And I remember I had made it a point that day that I wasn't gonna use pink because I thought it was a girly color. I was making this big deal. I was like, I don't use pink. I think it's a girly color. My whole reasoning for setting up this whole I hate pink thing was later on, I purposely picked up a pink marker and I was drawing with it, just waiting. I was just waiting for somebody in the room to be like, he's using pink. And I remember just like sitting there writing with the pink, like baiting everybody, like, come on. Somebody noticed, and then finally someone was like, Cooper, you're using pink. And I looked down and I acted like I had no idea, and I like threw it, and I did this whole big scene, and everybody's cracking up. And I remember that very vividly being one of the first times of me being like, whoa, I really like making people laugh. Like, I'm totally willing to like put myself in a ridiculous situation where I'm like the total butt of the joke, but everybody's laughing, like everybody was having a good time. And I remember just being like, that made me feel good. So that's actually just where the, oh my god, blackberries. Oh my god. Oh, that one was a bit sour. That's okay. There we go. So, while I have fun memories of the classrooms, I definitely have even better memories of the playground areas. Now this right here, this is a classic spot that we all used to hang out. Sometimes sometimes the creek flows through there. There's a little culvert. Now, you can see why the cool kids hung out here. I mean, there's blackberries right there. So like, you come out here during recess, free snack. It's obviously a great spot. And then there's spots to sit. And the thing is nobody can see you when you're down here. So you can, I mean, there wasn't really any shenanigans to get into because it was like 1st grade, but there's just some kind of a power to having the people who are supposed to watch over you not be able to see you. You guys know the trade-off for, every good memory, there's 5 bad ones. And I definitely have a lot of bad memories from being on this exact area. More specifically, this pea gravel. First off, I'd like to start with a minor injury. Now, a minor injury of mine came from this area right here. Now, there's a Halloween party here every single year, and it's a great time. There's a big tent that gets set up right there, and it's a bunch of fun for the community. So, little me is running around, and it's very, very dark out at this point and very late. And I'm flying through this area right here. Now, they had recently installed this thing, and I didn't know anything about it at all. Like, it was new to me. And I didn't know that there was this one bar that's lower than these two bars. It makes no sense. Like, it didn't make sense for me. So I come running from that direction through here, and I'm looking at both these bars. I'm like, oh, we're good. We got room. Little do I know, clink, dropped right in the pea gravel. Anyways, I was pretty much fine from that one. Went down, I was stunned, had a bruise on my head. No worries, I was fine about that one. Now, the thing that really injured me was this thing. The thing about this huge playset that got put up when I was here, because this thing wasn't here when I first got here, and after my first year here, they built this giant playset, and everybody thought it was really freaking cool. They built this awesome sky bridge, which, of course, as a little kid, this is like playground goals, am I right, guys? Now, the thing about it was, when we first got this slide, it wasn't exactly as safe. See, this big metal shell, it didn't show up when the rest of the slide came. And for whatever reason, they thought that it would be just fine to have this tiny little railing right here be enough for the kids. So this whole slide was here at this height with no protection around it. So one day, I'm sitting probably about here. So I'm sitting here chatting with my friends, right? And out of nowhere, I think I'm sitting kind of like this. Really small though, just envision me much, much smaller. And my friend just moves, the slightest little movement, hits my legs. And since there was no shell, I just flip backwards. Straight flip backwards, started falling. Now the thing was, I was looking straight up when it happened, so for me, I thought I was flying for a second. Like, all I could see was the sky, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. My superpowers kicked in, I'm taking off, I'm taking flight. Little did I know, I was falling. Now, it doesn't really look like the biggest fall right now, but you gotta remind yourself, I was like 4 foot nothing. So tiny little me goes, woo, boom, hits the ground. Now, I landed on my back, and this pea gravel left me like a cheetah print bruise. I'm not joking. I had tiny little bruises all over my back. It was kind of hilarious, but the not so hilarious part was the severe concussion that I suffered. I hit the ground really, really hard, and the thing is this wasn't put in yet, so there was cement laid all across here. It was all cement. Now, I fell from here, and the cement ended at this pole, and my head hit about a foot, probably a little bit less than a foot away from the last piece of cement, which honestly probably would have split my head open, and who knows what would happen if that happened, but it didn't. And so I survived the fall, and I had a really, really crazy concussion, the worst concussion I've ever had. I've had a bunch, and I remember I was getting letters from my classmates and all this stuff, and I was just stuck at home for a very long amount of time, not enjoying it at all, feeling very much like I feel now, stuck in quarantine. When I was here, you better believe I was quite the troublemaker. One time my teacher came to my mom and was like, hey, you know, Cooper asked me how to make the itch sound in class. So of course, they look in my journal after I left that day, and of course, I wrote right in my journal, Presley's a bitch. And looking back on it now, that shit is mad funny, but probably not the best thing for a second grader to be writing in his journal. It was like my diary. It was like my daily diary, and that's what I thought the biggest part of my day was, and that needed to be jotted down the most. Presley, you're not a bitch. You're a sweetheart. Sorry about that. I brought my basketball. I'm gonna shoot some hoops. It's funny. I was not into sports at all at the age when I was here. So maybe if I could see little me now, I'd be like, hey man, pick up a damn basketball. You might be a little better at it when you get older. Also, I know that if I ran into a little me running around here, I'd beat the shit out of that kid. I'd just beat the shit out of him, really humble him, as best as I could.
Looking back on it, I'm really glad this is the type of school experience I had as a child, and it's not what most people call normal, but neither am I, and normal's boring. We had more than enough space to play, more than enough personal attention from the teachers, and I can say it genuinely that it made me enjoy school.